I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. All right, welcome back, everybody, to I Mix What I Like. Do all the things. I'm gonna get right into it because this is a bit of a long one, but something I'm looking forward to. I haven't been back to listen to this whole thing in a long time, and by that I mean what we are gathering this evening to revisit the Great Harlem Debate of 2008. Just give me 1 second. All right, just checking the sound. Welcome. Welcome to some new members as well. Thank you very much. Peace. So yeah, so as I said, I haven't been back to revisit this in a number of years. Looking forward to it. And again, I'm talking about, of course, the Great Harlem Debate of 2008, which took place at Harlem's Salem United Methodist Church, December 14th, 2008, presented by CEMOTAP, the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People, convened by Dr. James McIntosh, who we're going to hear from, I believe, to start the affair. So I will, what I'm going to attempt to do is keep up and have, so that we know who we're talking about, try to keep track. And starting here with Dr. James McIntosh. Yes, we are live, and we are live. And we're going to hang out. Looking forward to it. And let's see what it. Let's enjoy ourselves as we revisit the Great Harlem Debate. Let's go.
I don't know if that's too loud, but at a great debate, critical thinking, which Brother Alton Maddox has been teaching up at City College, is crucial. And logic becomes crucial in a great debate. And the rules of logic are modus ponens, modus tollens, hypothetical disjunctive syllogism, constructive dilemma absorption, simplification, conjunction, and addition. De Morgan's theorem commutation, association distribution with the double negation, transposition, material implication, material equivalence, exportation, last not least the tautologies. And don't forget about the fallacies. Argumentum ad ignorantiam, verecundiam, complex questions.
Dr. McIntosh.
Those are words that our children should have grown up with, because those are the rules of logic in the great debate, which you saw in the great debaters. Now, I applied that logic to this election. I voted for Cynthia McKinney. But I knew, you can give Cynthia a little hand, because you know she's out there.
They didn't want to applaud.
But I knew that Barack was going to win. So on that night, I was there when the tally came down. And I got 2 minutes of audience with Brother Barack before Secret Service threw me away. And I said, Brother B, Barack, no B, Munia Abu Jamal is on death row. Now that you know, can't say you didn't know. I don't know if you all heard me. When I say Munia Abu Jamal is on, you say death row. All right? Help me out, Joe. Mumia Abu Jamal is on.
Yes, no.
Now that you know, can't say you didn't know. A former Black Panther who brought black to fame. KRS, Madline, Channel Line, all said his name. But the rapper Shank had been on fire. Oh, the POW a few breaths while he breathes on a reprieve I create. The massive and aggressive in awareness I generate. consciousness on the CIA eyes. Brother framed on COINTELPRO lies, while a Negro on Wall Street reaps benefit, can't get within the four, given the forget the sweat. Years of fears proceed, till an NIA is free. Wish me Godspeed. Comedy Central blares in the black round, strategize. Can't even hear the sound. Out of sight, out of mind. A prisoner of war, a rhyme fun rappers don't never have time for. So I got a fun rapper vendetta. A born and bred misled sucker should still know better.
I didn't catch that. I guess the recording
didn't know. Mumia Abu Jamal is on
death row.
They might be strapping him down as I recite the rhyme with the velocity because it ain't much time. If I had a main squeeze with a helicopter, break the story down to it and co-opt her to properly move her soul, paratroop from the copter into the yard, straight out of hell.
I don't think this is
jailbreak them out and just keep stepping. I need 30 gangsters and sophisticated weapons, proactive act to counteract the simple fact, get some plastic surgery and then come back, but first, a false trail to avoid trial. I make it look like I'm in self-imposed exile. Mumia Abu Jamal can't say it too many times because suckers with budget rhymes, so contentless, boisterous. Yes, I'm the voice of the voice of the voiceless for now. Pride and empty heads just like cattle. The unwrapped, unsung hero fighting the real battle from the black side. The court reporter that you ought to know, Mumia Abu Jamal is on. And then I said, Barack, you want to bomb Iran and Pakistan, so you know that I know that you know that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. I think America proves that when every day, so I'm a gunner. Gunner on an enterprise, an extemporaneous raptivist / organizer, a demo caser, a riot chaser, a PAC embracer, facilitator without a chaser, FBI trying to pin me on heinous crimes, picking my garbage to examine discarded rhymes, to predict or maybe forecast who I'll blow away. But they can't, because I don't even know. One thing all I know is death penalties in effect, and people don't feel Mumia facing death direct, and people talk about Mandela all day. Prisoners up under their nose in the USA. Ciphers delight code to drop a load, bomb a spot. I decipher these fake jack ciphers a lot. Safer to talk about genocide overboard. Rappers afraid to cut their umbilical cord. Barack, you can pardon Mumia if you didn't know. Mumia Abu Jamal is on.
That's right.
That's when the Secret Service grabbed me and they took me out. I said, let me go. Let me go. No, let Mumia go. I said, free Mumia. Free Mumia! And then they threw me out. But they can't go off the neck. Free Mumia.
The one and only Pose Our Pose. Okay, so we heard from the older generation. Before, when I used to introduce Koza, I'd be introducing him as the younger generation. Now he's up here with the older generation.
That's Dr. McIntosh.
And we're going to hear from someone in the younger generation. Please welcome to the microphone, Sister Autumn. I'm looking. Where's Autumn? Okay. Is Autumn Ashanti near? All right, please, Sister Autumn Ashanti. Don't scare.
Yeah, I'm too short for that.
They can't see you up there. We got a telephone book. What we got? A little stool. Maybe a chair. We got some chairs over there. What about the stool? No, I don't think that's for prayers. Hold on. No problem. We just want to get a chair.
Yeah, they did. And but again, I think everybody got that wrong at the time, myself included. But with hindsight, I think we got that wrong. Or she was attacked in the wrong way.
Greetings, everyone.
From the wrong political end.
How was everyone on this fine day? Okay. I'm sure you all remember what it's like to be short. It's also a truly honor for me to be part of the young generation in this generation to be here at the Great Harlem Debate. This poem is called The Beginning of a Child, and I hope you all catch the message in this, what I'm trying to say. In the womb before the world began, I was a child amongst other gods and children who were or maybe or might have been gods. There in the dark we could not see each other's faces. We agreed to be born, to separate, to forget the pact that we made that we might learn the secrets of our fraternity. We agreed to know love in exchange of hate, to know life instead of being the living dead. Then, one by one, we entered this thing alone. We were righteous seeds of possibilities, whispering. Then, one by one, we entered this thing alone. We walked on our legs after shedding our wings, and now we pass each other on well-lit streets without recognizing each other. We are gods covered by flesh, realizing the multitude of a single spirit. For it is the lips of the righteous that teaches many, but it is the fools that die for the want of wisdom. Vexation of the soul is vanity, and the destruction of the poor is their poverty. The destruction of the Black family is our poverty. Therefore, you have very little time to get it right. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart penetrate and break down the walls that cover your mind, body, and soul. We are the reincarnated souls from that time, living on earth, living in peace, living within the electromagnetic vibrations of being a creator. And now we pass each other on well-lit streets without recognizing each other. I want to tell you my secret now. I want to tell you my secret now. I want you all to see what is the fellowship of the great mystery, which from the beginning of the world has been hidden in me. And I, who created all things and without controversy, I, the great mystery, is the mighty black womb. Man, I was manifest in the flesh, seen in the company of angels, preached to the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. I want to tell you my secret now. I want to tell you my secret now. I see dead people walking amongst the living, so let there be light. Thank you.
Listen, that's called my boy. You know nothing about that.
I forgot about all the preamble, but that's of course is standard for these kinds of events. And but if in 2008 I could sit there through this whole event, I'm sure it'll be easy to do.
Remember I said a few minutes ago that nothing went right? Well, the fact of the matter is that although nothing went right, everything went right. By finding out, that's right, by finding out that the place, or thinking that the place only seated 110, that led us to find another venue. By finding another venue, that saved us from the catastrophe we would have had. The church was telling us that we would have to go in the basement that only seats 60 people. Now, could you imagine this crowd with a basement that holds 60 people?
Yeah, no, it was packed.
A disaster.
It would have been.
Well, in keeping, nothing's going right, but everything's going right. We asked for Sister Shadidi of the Friends and Family and Friends of Dr. Mumia,
Dr. Burroughs,
Family and Friends of Dr. Matulu Shakur to do the libation, and she took ill today. So that's something else that went wrong. However, to show you that everything still goes right, our wonderful elder Nana Camille Yarbrough has agreed to do the libation for us. So please welcome to the microphone Nana Camille Yarbrough.
Good afternoon, family. It's good to see each other, isn't it? We're still here. We're still struggling. And we're still gonna win. Can I get an ashe on that? I don't have much space here with the flowers, the plants. Mutulu Shakur worked in this community, worked for us. And now we're here to help him. That's what we're going to do. We're taking this opportunity to focus on what's going on right now with our people, the gifts we've been given. And so I'm going to ask you to join with me first in this libation. First, we thank the Mighty One who goes by many names. We thank the power that made us all, that gave us our first dignity as the parents of humanity. Can I get an ashe on that? We thank the Creator for giving us life, for sustaining our lives, for giving us the powers of hope and intellect. We can be human, examine. We can think. We can compare. Here today, we're going to be doing all of those things, and we're doing them as family. And so let us give praise to the great African family. Can I get an ashe on that? And I want you, please, to call out the names of ancestors. And as you call them out, would you please give power to that by standing on your feet. If you say Harriet Tubman, stand up. If you say your grandmother, stand up. And I'm going to start it by saying, I give respect and I call on the wisdom of Adam Clayton Powell. Ashe Yah. Do I hear a name? Ella Baker. Stand up. Stand. Ella Baker. Ashe. Miriam Makeba. Stay standing. Ashe.
I heard Miriam Makeba today.
Nancy White. What was it? Kwame Ture. Malcolm X. John Henry Clark. Nat Turner. Sekou Touré, Marcus Garvey,
Never.
All right, everyone, please stand to your feet to give praise to the ancestors that brought us here. Let us raise up their wisdom today. Can I get an ashe on that? Let us raise up their love for one another. Can I get an ashe on that? Let us raise up their respect for the African family. Can I get an ashe on that? And I want you now to hold hands with one another as brothers and sisters, as family. Not just hold hands, but give an African embrace. Tell one another that you love them more than you love yourself. Embrace Africans, love Africans, hold Africans. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you for bringing us here. And may we use your wisdom today, Ashe.
Salute and love to the Africans in the chat. We could keep the same vibe here as was in the place that evening. Salute. Virtual hugs.
Is Sister Yvonne Hill in the house? Then, where is she? Okay. We're going to now hear from Sister Yvonne Hill, who is going to okay, I got something for the yelling out. You watch and see. A little bit later, when I go on official, I'm going to show you what's going to happen with the yelling out. But right now, we're going to let that go. Sister Yvonne, come on up. Come on up. We're going to have a prayer, first a Christian prayer, and a little later, Minister Kevin Muhammad, now known as Minister Yusuf Hafiz is going to lead us in a Muslim prayer. We've had our African libation.
If you all don't mind, I'm going to skip some of this.
I'm going to stop a psychiatric disorder.
The link.
Rigid 8-minute presentation debate like the ones you see on TV.
What you have done.
All right, so I'm gonna skip that and move ahead a little bit to get to the debate part. Feel free to check the link in the description if you ever want to come back and see anything or hear anything that I missed or moved ahead or whatever. But just for the sake of time, let's as much as I did want to recreate the event of the evening, let's go ahead and move on.
And just to talk among each other. We praise your name.
And as they wrap up the prayer here.
And we pray that your Holy Spirit will be in this church to guide our thoughts and our words.
And I thought I was actually closer to the end.
Gift which you have given us. And we
but apparently I was not.
Be grateful because sometimes, Lord, we do not.
All right, and let me move this head just a little bit.
Debate. Right now it's time for us to talk about the great debate, the debate rules. Firstly, this is not a debate in the sense of a debate like the ones you see on TV, where an announcer is interrupting the person and trying to ask them pointed questions and then trying to cut them off before they get a chance to answer. This is a discussion, a roundtable discussion, but with two differing opinions, two main differing opinions. But in truth, several of the debaters told me that they could argue either side. Brother Charles Barron told me, he said, I could just as easily argue the no as the yes, but I'm perfectly willing to argue the yes. And Brother James Turner told me I could perfectly argue the yes as well as the no, but I'm gonna take the no. And Brother Solomon Goodrich, one of our elders who will be here a little later, he said, the answer is yes and no. Now, I don't know what any of them meant, but I wanna find out, just as you do.
By the way, that was a very Dr. Turner answer. Salute,
so
may he rest in power.
If we were to do things the way that these rallies usually go, we'd be here all night. That's not gonna happen. We are going to have rigid 8-minute presentations. First of all, I wanna know if there are any people with a watch with a second hand in the audience. And if you have one, I want you to stand up. Okay, now I really want to know if I have any people who wouldn't mind sharing their medical history with us. Is there anybody with obsessive compulsive disorder? I mean, if you can step on cracks in the street, you're not sick enough. I need somebody that, if they say to be somewhere at 12 o'clock and you come at 12:01, that they're mad. Is there anybody like that? Stand up if you like that. Or somebody's pointing somebody else out. Got some snitches here. No, seriously, I just need 4 intelligent people who can keep time. And I'm gonna sit you up front with your watch. And that way, if somebody goes to sleep, the other one will catch it. But at the end of 8 minutes for these first presenters, you have to give a hunch. Now, I'm going to show you how we're going to stop a psychiatric disorder that I have and that many other people have. And that is when we get to waxing eloquent on white supremacy, you know, we don't want to stop. A minute goes like a second, you know, and 10 minutes goes like 1. So we're not against those people. We understand what happens. You get drunk. You know, you get drunk. And we don't beat up drunks. We help the drunk to get sober. Is that right? So I'm going to show you some African sign language. What does this mean? Power. Everybody knows what that means. Okay? Now I'm going to show you a couple of others. What does this mean? You martial artists, what does this mean? Respect. Respect. All right? Now, what does this mean? This is the people. See these things here, these things, these are the people. What does this mean? Black people, our people, right? So if I say this, what will you say? Our people. Respect our people. Can you help me in a chant?
There was a white woman in there who started walking towards the stage when Dr. Ani got up there. I wonder how it's going to play out.
Okay, now I don't want anybody to give me
in the
that
audio,
signal, so I'm going to finish right up.
Because I remember it being a little
First,
bit crazy.
if you start to go 1 second over the time, I'm going to take a step toward the podium. 2 seconds, I'm going to take another step. And 3 seconds, I'm going to start the chant. Respect our people. Respect our people. Now, if you're really drunk, you're like in a stupor, then I'm going to call code red. I can't show you code red
Doc?
right
We're just
now.
getting started. I forgot how long the
Because there's
preamble
still
was, how
15
long
of
the
our security
setup,
people over at the other side.
all the libations and the prayers and the
But when they all get here,
speeches and
and I
poets.
call code red. Now this is a real rough thing to say. Why? Because all of these people we have today, they're doing our community a service, aren't they? Please give them a round of applause. And I want them all to know I love you. And what I said is not a threat. It is not a warning. It's just a statement of fact. That if you start to go over 8 seconds, our people are going to tell you to sit down because they want to hear from the others. If we don't, anybody goes over 8 minutes, including me, we won't hear from everybody. And we want to hear from everybody. Is that right? All right. Now, other rules, I don't think I really have to tell this.
And good people, I know folks will be coming and going throughout the evening. So thank you all very much. Peace. Thank you.
Because the minister was so gracious. We're in someone else's house.
Enjoy your Independence Day.
The rules of this house. Is that right? So there are a couple of things that I shouldn't have to say, but I'm just going to say them. No cussing. Okay? No cussing, no even coming close to cussing. No N-word. No C-word. All right? Now that doesn't mean you can't tell the truth. If you have a good enough vocabulary, there are plenty of synonyms for the N-word. There are plenty of synonyms for the C-word.
What's the C?
Oppressor.
Yeah, colonizer.
Supremacist. Whatever. Okay? Because you're describing just behavior. So you can tell the truth. No other rules right now.
Strict.
But there's one other, and that is that the brother behind me is the chairman of this event. His name is Brother Sid Wilson. He's coming up.
Caucasian.
And he's the final arbiter of all disputes. If he says this can happen or that can't happen, that's it. And we're going to all comply. Is that right? Because we want our program to be a good program. It's being filmed. It's going around the country.
Yeah, he said that. I have only seen video from the second
this
debate.
Is going to turn into a madhouse. There are people who are predicting that this is going to turn into a talk fest, and it's not true. We're going to stick within strict time limits. Is that right?
I don't think he meant to see you next Tuesday.
Okay. I just want to make sure, I don't want to be saying something and I look behind me and there's nobody with me. Let him speak. Let him speak. Shut up, Dr. McIntyre. Let him speak. Okay. So the other thing we want to
accomplish. Was I this impatient on the night of? I feel like this is taking forever.
Some myths. There's some people who say that Black people do not care about their modern day Nat Turners. There's people that say they don't care about our political prisoners and our POWs. There's people that say we don't care about the young men that have languished in jails for 20, 30 years because they took our struggle for liberation seriously like people all around the world do, like our ancestors have done through the generations. And so we are going to show that we have not forgotten a healer that lived in this community, got sent to jail on trumped up, fabricated charges. And that person is Dr. Mutulu Shakur.
Rest in power.
They have him so that his ailing mother, who is blind, can't visit him. He's in Colorado, in Supermax, with our brother Jamil El Amin. So anyway, my time is up, but I'm going to bring on some more of same. Please welcome from the family and friends of Dr. Mutulu Shakur, Brother Sid Wilson.
All right, I am going to move this ahead a little bit. No offense.
I want to thank, I think I've thanked it. Oh, let's thank
educator,
definitely rest in power. No, I just forgot how long it took to get to the actual debate.
okay. In keeping with nothing goes right, but everything goes right, right? We have, I see that Dr. Jeffries was down for the first side. Oh, he's here. So, okay, Dr. Jeffries is here. Please welcome the longtime fighter, scholar, educator. What else did you say to say, Dr. Jeffries? No. No, really a brilliant warrior for our community. Please welcome him, Dr. Leonard Jeffries.
Hotep family. Obama. Now that's the greeting for my students. Now we used to say Hotep. Some say Assalamu alaikum, some say Shalom, some say what's up. But now the students are saying Obama. And their response is Obama. First of all, let me thank the ancestors for bringing me through New Jersey, across the Triborough Bridge, picking up Sister Fanny Clark, coming back over the bridge, and bringing me here.
He's arguing in
I'm glad to see so many
defense of the good.
We were going to try to fit into St. Mary's, but it seems that the Catholic formula is not large enough for African peoples, so we had to go with the Protestant formula. And so here we are in Salem Methodist. Now, I'm glad I'm here, because during the struggle in 1969, when the students took over City College and made the demands to open up the universities, we, to support the students, brought our classes down into the community, and I taught my classes at Salem Methodist Church. So this church is very special for me. The United Salem Methodist Church is very special. Let's give the church an acknowledgement, a round of applause. And of course, we've already thanked the family of Dr. Shakur and Simotap and others who organized this great event. It's important for us to have a systems analysis. It's important for us to understand and appreciate history, its content and its context. These are historical moments. They may be difficult moments because there's always a negative and a positive to life. They will definitely be significant for African peoples. And so I'm speaking on behalf of those who say that the advent of Barack Hussein Obama, and more importantly, his fabulous African wife, Michelle, will usher in a new era of consciousness. We can't expect the brother to change a system of devastation, domination, destruction, and death. But we can expect this family to be a significant factor in the rebuilding of this economy, this political structure, and all that has collapsed around it. What I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, he's not going to be a Messiah. He's not going to change this system, but at least he will be in a position so the worst manifestations of the system can be neutralized and that we can try to carry out the programs of African renewal that is in our hearts and in our mind. I'm not expecting Barack Hussein Obama, the president-elect, to be the president, to carry out a pan-African agenda. That's my responsibility. I'm not expecting him to carry out a reparations agenda. That's Viola Plummer's agenda. I'm not expecting him to carry out a black power agenda politically. That's our brother Baron and his queen to carry out. I'm not expecting him to reform the prison system. That's those of you who have been reforming the prison system. Now you go even further and even harder and press the brother with what you know. You've got to get yourself ready for this change that has occurred. You cannot let sentimental feelings, ideological feelings, misunderstandings, personal situations prevent you from seeing history. The editor of Der Spiegel was on WBAI 2 days ago, and the editor of Der Spiegel, the leading German magazine, will have Barack Obama on their cover as the Man of the Year. But more importantly, they did a canvassing of the German people. They did a canvassing of the German people. And the German people that they canvassed, 70% of them said they would want Barack Obama as the president of Germany. More importantly, he did a canvassing of the intellectual leaders, the political leaders, the bankers, the movers and shakers of Germany, and 88% of them polled said they would want Barack Obama as the president of Germany. Not of America, of Germany. We have to understand what time it is, brother. Life is change, transformation, and rebirth, resurrection, and restoration. No matter what Obama does in office, life is going to change, it's going to be transformed, and there's going to rebirth. We need to have Mumia Abu-Jabbar celebrate the fact, even if we can't get him off of death row, and even if he goes to his rewards, he's got to celebrate the fact that he was here. He was here at the moment that the capitalist system collapsed. He was here when Wall Street was finished. He was here, and he can go to his reward understanding that he stood for that challenge. We have to understand what has happened, brothers and sisters. The system that we know as capitalism no longer exists. We have a chance to put in place an African system. Wall Street, as we know it, no longer exists. We have a chance to put in African Street. And I'm sure we're on 7th Avenue, which is Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. And Adam Clayton Powell is telling Barack Obama, what's in your hand, black man? What's next to you, black man? You got a black woman, you got black children. You got to do the right thing, black man. A few blocks over, you got Malcolm X Boulevard, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. And I'm sure Malcolm X is saying, by any means necessary, black man, make the necessary changes. And on the other side, you got Frederick Douglass Boulevard. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. The images, who controls the images? Controls the self-esteem, the self-respect, and the self-development. Images we've been fed and continue to be fed. 50 Cent, the power of 50. Images we've been fed. African women who've deformed themselves to fit the white mold. Ebony with Tyra on, the Tyra way. We're not going to deal with 50 Cent. You have a black man and a black woman in the most powerful position in the world. We're going to deal with an African percent. We're not going to deal with Tyra's way. We're going to deal with the pan-African way, as Dr. Clark said it. Pan-Africanism of Paris, reparations now. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Because I was way up in the rafters in the pew, like,
Obama!
Like the old puppets on the Muppet Show. I was up in the rafters like, what? And what I was thinking was, I'm glad I got this on tape.
It looks like my watch stopped.
I'm glad we got this on tape.
That was only 7 minutes. Let's have a round of applause for Dr. Lynn Jeffries. And you know as much as that, brother, and you can put it in 7 minutes. I mean, okay. All right, now, I want to put a lie to the idea that we have some opposition here. All of these people are doing us a service by helping us to raise funds for our POW. Is that right? For Dr. Mutulu Shakur. Our next presenter, she and I have our disagreements on this issue. However, she is my sister. When I say she's my sister, I mean her daughter calls me Uncle James. And I mean my daughter calls her Mama Marimba. And any position she takes, I have to listen to. And I advise my community to listen also. That's right. In fact, I have said many times in the past, I believe this sister has written possibly the most important book of the last century, of the 20th century. A book called Yoruba. She's very modest. She's starting to get uncomfortable because I'm talking about her, but she's all that I say and more. Please welcome to the microphone cultural scientist, former head of the Black Sequence at Hunter College, Dr. Marimba Ani.
Really? I think that's on you though, right? The sound is pretty good over here.
Hotep, brothers and sisters, and my ancestors, I speak to you. I've got to do this really, really fast. I would rather be talking about Mutulu. Mutulu is inspirational to me. Mutulu loves us, has sacrificed much for us. They want to bring me up high. This is taken away from my minute.
No, this is like an NBA game. We're going to reset the clock now. We're resetting the clock.
Yeah, I don't remember what was happening here. That's wild. Peace.
Obama has ignored us. The media has demonized Mutulu. There is a media hype of the white-controlled media which has sold us Obama. I think what we are suffering from is ideological confusion at the moment. That is that we're not clear, we're not thinking clearly, and that we need a context within which to answer the question, is something good or bad? We assume that we have the same goals, but we never say what they are. It's time for us to think and articulate and establish our goals as Black nationalists and pan-Africanists. We need vision, we need clarity. Otherwise, we can't answer the question, is it good for African people? Once we agree, then we can have a frame of reference and some ideological grounding. Well, let me just give some definitions or give my view of this. Nationalist goal is self-determination in the spirit of Delaney, Garvey, Malcolm, Amos. It is Pan-African commitment, that is the unity of African people worldwide and one Africa on the continent as a basis for African strength. So we are about building a Pan-African world order based on the principles of Ma'at, not in imitation of a European order. Ma'at as justice and truth. We need a nation concept, as Dr. Clark told us. A Black economic program, a cultural program, an independent political organization, independent Black media, independent African-centered education financed by us and controlled by us. All of this presupposes Very importantly, an African Black identity. Now, if we're not just paying lip service to what I've just said, if we really mean this, then there are some implications for this recent election. I want to touch on just a couple. One, the question of identity. Without clarity on this issue, there is no nationalist movement. There is no Pan-African movement. There's no reason for us to be here as a community. Without racial, cultural identity, which works for us as a people and gives us power, then there is no reason for us to be here. That's the basis for our struggle. But what confusion about identity does is it works for integrationists. It works for assimilationists. It works for Marxists. Obama has said that he is biracial. He has said that he is a mutt. If we accept this, then we disappear as a political entity. No Black America? What does that do? To 4 decades of ideological growth, development, and struggle is demolished in one act. I want you to remember a series of articles in Newsweek and Time talking about the browning of America, talking about what color is Black. There are recent things on the net now talking about Obama not being the first Black president, being the first something else president, because is he Black or not? Read it. We must read what is being said. We must think, and we have to think about the political consequences of that. A candidate that takes away from my minutes, by the way.
That's a older white woman interrupting.
A candidate who is said to be a first Black, but who does not identify as Black and tells us that we are no longer Black we are existing in a reality that is beyond Black and white, beyond race, that there's no more racism. This person does not represent us. And so in his winning, we voted ourselves out of existence, if we accept that. Another point is that we can no longer believe in fantasy. That is a reality that doesn't exist. We cannot use a good person approach. It's not about that. It's not about a person. We've been told by Dr. Jeffries that we're supposed to be looking at systems and analyzing how systems work. We're talking about the electoral system, the political system that works on the basis of group interests, the interactions of groups. That's what that's about. And it is about power. And it is about who finances. It is about where you get your support from in terms of your financing. That is what the system is about. It is, by definition, an unprincipled system, because you are supposed to compromise on principle in order to get what you think is power. That's what the system is about, not whether a person is good or not. Okay, I got 2 minutes. Okay, importantly, there is a psychological term called role dissonance. Role, R-O-L-E, dissonance. There is a paradox, or there is a contradiction in terms that the President of the United States is not supposed to represent a group interest, the interest of any group. That is a contradiction in terms according to what they say. So that we couldn't be represented in that anyway. But what is represented under the table is who did the financing, who chose. We say we chose. We didn't choose. By the time we got to the election, the choice had already been made. Nobody here probably, this takes away from my time, nobody probably heard of him before 2004, but he had a long history in Chicago, which brings me to the next warning, the next, what I see as implication of this, and that is the Jewish connection, which must be understood. Because we fought that in the civil rights movement. And I was a part of the Southern student movement in Mississippi. And all the time we had to fight for control of our own movement. Now what has happened is that he has allowed that control to come into place because he was picked and chosen. And I could give you the list of names. I don't have time to now, but you're going to have to find these things out. You're going to have to now get on the net, read things, think. Don't just listen to rhetoric about how wonderful it is to have these beautiful people there. See where they came from. See what they represent. Are we disconnecting ourselves from Africa? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we finally have come to? I have something to read to you, if I can find it.
Yeah, she's definitely not ADOS. She's as African-centered.
This is
pan-Africanist as it gets.
Oh, let me find this. Here it is. Evidently,
yeah, absolutely.
A letter was written from, or request came from Kenya to Obama. Obama answered that request, and I wish I could read the whole thing to you, but I'm going to read something. They were asking for something, okay, asking for help. He said, among other things, our relationship could be imperiled should your foreign policy be at odds with ours. What is that saying? Okay? And he goes on to say, Kenya, now listen carefully, Kenya may be, okay, I think it's chosen, may benefit. Kenya may benefit if it makes certain strategic decisions. We are looking for a base in Africa to build our AFRICOM headquarters. We want to choose you. If you do that, then we'll do what you say. It's bad for us as a people if it puts us to sleep and ends this movement. It is good for us as a people if we come together like this and determine our own agenda and keep the movement going.
I heard somebody that sounded like me for a second. Did I yell out on tape?
Okay. Can I ask for quiet in the audience? Can I ask for quiet in the audience? Listen, I'm not surprised that Marimba got the applause that she did. I told you what I thought of her before we started. No, it's not just because she's right. Everybody
she got ushered politely.
Everybody up here is going to give you information and perspective. Everybody up here is going to give our community valuable information.
Me too, actually.
All right. Are we going to stay respectful of each other?
Speaking of respect, hit the like button, everybody. Do all the things.
Because I'm going to stay respectful of you, and I want you to stay respectful also.
And I think we should have some follow-up discussions off of some of this.
More of saying. We've got some brilliant panelists on either side of this issue. And
I did speak in the second at the part 2 that took place 6 months later, but it was a much smaller
young man who
follow-up to this.
The nation's attention as an organizer down at Howard University, went on to go to law school and become a brilliant attorney, and was mentored by our brilliant Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Please welcome the chairman of the new Black Panther Party, Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz.
You know what? You know what? You know what? I forgot about this, and you all are going to have to forgive me or not. You can go to the I completely forgot about this, and folks can forgive me, but you can go to the show description and get the link and watch this on your own if you like. But after the incident some years ago involving Shabazz's crew and the jumping of Daruba bin Wahad, I don't associate or allow my spaces to be associated with him or them. So even historically, so if this is journalistically inappropriate, forgive me. If this is somehow otherwise inappropriate, I beg your forgiveness or not. But that is just I just can't do it. So just give me a second here to move this forward, and folks will just it is what it is. But I just can't. There's just no way I would be able to sit here and allow that to go. So let's just see where we are here real quick.
If this election gives, so this brother came along.
And
that's a hint. Who am I talking about?
All right, here we go. We'll just pick it up here.
That's right. Our next speaker is the brilliant and the committed and the brave Councilman Charles Bannon.
Let me hurry up and talk. I only got 8 minutes. Barack Obama is good, and it's good for our people. Thank you very much. You know, it doesn't matter what we think about Barack Obama. Doesn't matter how much control we have or don't have over Barack Obama. The bottom line, it wasn't only Barack Obama that got him there. It was Malcolm X. It was Martin Luther King. It was the Black Power movement, the Civil Rights movement. And whether they like it or not, it was Jesse Jackson who ran in 1984 and in 1988. If it weren't for them, there'd be no Barack Obama. So no matter what side you come down, no matter what we say tonight, we can get deep, we can analyze, we can get profound, we can standing ovations, but we gotta go back to East New York. We gotta go back to Brownsville. We gotta go back to Harlem. We gotta go back to the South Bronx. We gotta go back to South Jamaica. And we have to deliver. Our people are tired of rhetoric, tired of conferences, tired of debates. They want jobs, they want liberation. They wanna know, what are you gonna do with Barack Obama created? I felt after the Million Man March, and we thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for bringing 2 million of us to Washington, D.C. Should have taken that, come back home, and let's liberate our communities at home. You got to feel good about what happened in this country. 62% of our people came out to vote. Lines around the corner made the mistake on election day to think that we can get our people in the evening time because we come out late to vote. When I got up at 6 o'clock to go vote, it took me an hour and a half to vote. Our people got involved. And brothers and sisters, we need to have a discussion about the electoral process, period. You know, some of us don't vote. Some of us get up here and, down there, wherever we are, we don't even participate. Ain't even down with this stuff. You tell me how we're going to get some power. How are we going to get some power throughout this system? I believe, and by the way, I want to let you all know I have a new identity. My name is Mr. Inez Barron. And I came here to represent my wife today, the new assemblywoman from the 40th District in East New York. So I'm speaking on her behalf. All the good things I say are hers, the mistakes are mine. But she had some other business she had to take care of. But what we did with the Barack Obama excitement, we organized East New York. We got our people to say, we need to take over. We're gonna liberate East New York. Y'all watch. East New York is gonna be a liberation zone. We got the city council, we got the assembly seat. Now we're gonna get the congressional seat next, and we're gonna liberate East New York. So when you come to East New York, you're gonna see parks renovated. You're gonna see sidewalks smooth. You're gonna see schools that work. You're gonna see police in check. You're gonna come to East New York and see youth programs.
Oh, man.
That's the only thing that matters, because it doesn't matter what he does in the White House. Right now, he ain't even inaugurated yet. He's not in. The only thing that happened, and it had to be a good thing, we changed occupants. Bush is gone and the Obamas are in. That's what happened up to date. And he's picking people. Let's be real. He has to answer to Nancy Pelosi and those who are heading up the House, and to Harry Reid, who's heading up the Senate. And he's giving us a wink. McIntosh told me,
good idea.
You know, brothers winking at us from time to time. They didn't want him to even mention that he was black. I hope that he plays James Brown's record when they get to the inauguration. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, because he's in now.
Now I remember why Deruba comes back later and says what he says about that. From
time to time. He set up an urban policy institute. That's a wink. You can't say a black policy, I'll say urban. I look for a wink. Sometimes when he got in one of the press conferences and he's appointing Hillary, I wouldn't have appointed her to nothing. But he had to do what he had to do. As a matter of fact, a lot of black leaders that are dancing about Barack Obama supported Hillary Clinton and was hoping that she won. And a lot of black people was with Hillary Clinton. And if it wasn't for those who thought better, who knew better, and you know, our people, as deep as we are, they voted for him because he was black. And they were proud of that. That's why they voted for him. We can get into the issues. The December 12th movement is doing a great thing. They're taking that single-payer health care issue to the transition team to try to get that on the agenda. Some of us will be organizing in our communities. I say it's a good thing. White men have too much power. 43 presidents and 43 of them were white men. It's good for the change. And we, the only thing that happened was he got in.
No, it's Charles
It's on
Barron.
us now to take it to another level. And let's take over East New York and Brownsville and Harlem and say to our people that black power is back.
Especially with that picture,
even if it ain't you or who you want it.
They do favor each other.
Black man in the State House, there's a black man in the White House, and if we get a black man in mayor, Bloomberg has got to go. Let's use that movement to get rid of Bloomberg and the Council 29 with him. Thank you.
In keeping with nothing's going right and everything's going right, I'm making more errors now. I've told everybody before, I went to my doctor to find out why I'm forgetting things and why I do these things, and he told me not to worry because it's going to get worse.
That's facts.
He said, and then it's going to stop. He said, as long as it hasn't stopped, I'm ahead of the game, and that's how I feel. I accidentally called 2 yes people up. Now what happened is that Brother Sid, who is firmly in the no section, he turned to me, he said, that's because it takes 2 of them to equal 1 of us.
Yeah, he was looking a little bit like Claude Anderson, but Dr. Anderson did not participate in this.
It may take more than that with this young man, because the brother coming up now, he has been writing and firing off articles, and he's been getting a lot of emails, I'm sure. He probably doesn't. I want him to meet the lady that's sending him all the nasty emails. Sister Betty, hold your hand up. But our next speaker is an editor at the Black Agenda Report. Whatever your position, you're going to have to say he does his research. Please welcome Brother Glenn Ford.
Good afternoon. You see, my remarks are prepared. I think being prepared is the most important way to show respect. I've been waiting a very long time for this kind of meeting to occur. Ever since Barack Obama became the candidate for president, many of his unquestioning supporters have labeled critics like me as being conscious or unconscious allies, first of Hillary Clinton and then of John McCain. It's a very uncomfortable position to be in. And as a result of those labels, Obama has been left free to gravitate as far to the right as he has felt convenient. And he has taken advantage, every advantage of that freedom to move to the right. What we have wound up with is a president-elect whose cabinet to date is mostly a Clinton cabinet and worse than a Clinton cabinet. Obama's military portfolio is in the hands of a Reagan, Bush 1, Bush 2 warmongering criminal. His name is Robert Gates, and his crimes go all the way back to Iran-Contra and the mining of the harbors of Nicaragua, way back to the 1980s. Obama's economic mechanisms will be in the hands of the very same robber baron bankers who set the stage for the current catastrophic meltdown back during Bill Clinton's presidency and in George Bush's presidency. Now, nobody forced Barack Obama to put together an administration that even the New York Times has described as center-right, and I think is much more right than center. Nobody forced Barack Obama to break into a sprint to endorse George Bush's bailout of the bankers. Nobody forced him to do that. Nobody forced Barack Obama to browbeat the Congressional Black Caucus into endorsing that same bailout the second time around. Nobody forced Barack Obama to elevate Susan Rice, a fanatical advocate of so-called humanitarian military intervention, as UN ambassador. And she is a woman who wholeheartedly supports George Bush's war against Somalia, a crime that the United Nations says has created the worst humanitarian crisis in Africa. And she and Barack Obama are both enthusiastic supporters of AFRICOM. We don't have to wait any longer to discover what kind of president Barack Obama will be. His presidential appointments are his first presidential deeds. And by these deeds, we already know President Obama.
Now listen, that's called
Barack Obama chose of his own free will to put his face at the head of an administration whose most powerful portfolios, those of war and the economy, in the hands of the worst thieves and warmongers that were available. Secretary of State designate Hillary Clinton looks like a comparative moderate compared to the most important portfolios in Barack Obama's cabinet. I maintain that this outcome was inevitable. This creation of a center-right government in the making was inevitable ever since Black progressives failed to challenge Obama on any important political point during the primaries or before the primaries when it really would have made a difference. This blind faith, unquestioning Obamaism, is an abdication of all leadership responsibility. And it is this blind faith
upset.
Obamaism that has allowed Obama to play to the right, to his heart's content. Barack Obama didn't face any organized Black opposition to his call for an expanded military, his call for 100,000 additional soldiers and Marines, as if that would not inevitably lead to more wars and more suffering, and inevitably to a reduction in resources for human needs. If you all remember, back when the subprime meltdown's effects were being felt in earnest, it was Barack Obama who refused to endorse a moratorium on foreclosures or a freeze on interest rates. He took a position to the right of Hillary Clinton and Edwards, but he didn't pay any penalty for taking that position because there was no organized Black criticism. Meanwhile, those of us who warned that Obama was constantly drifting towards the right were labeled as traitors to the race. The Obamites demanded that everyone withhold judgment until after the election. And of course, by that time, it would be too late. And in fact, it has been too late for a very long time. The more judgment we withheld, the further to the right he became. But I'm not really angry at Barack Obama, because I recognize him as just another cynical center-right politician who's going to do whatever he can get away with. The people that I'm upset about are the people who let him get away with it for the last 2 years. People who amazingly see their job as protecting him. And that is really an amazing proposition. Protecting Barack Obama.
Yeah,
Barack
listen.
Obama is president-elect of the United States. He has power. He is in bed with billionaire bankers and with war criminals. And people want to protect him when in fact we need protection from him. And all this seems to be very difficult for some of our folks to understand because this entire Obama experience has been damaging. 30 seconds. It's one thing to get carried away on the strength of pent-up aspirations over 100 years. It's another thing to willfully ignore reality. Dr. Smith passed along to me a speech by Amiri Baraka, which seems to explain from his touchstone how Barack Obama actually operates. What is the rationale here? And Amiri explains that Rahm Emanuel is a very good choice, a brilliant choice for Barack Obama and by extension for Black folks as a whole, because what he does is keep the real dangerous Zionists at bay, kind of like garlic. See? There's worse Zionists out there, and so he needs Rahm Emanuel. And I suppose that means that there are worse warmongers than Robert Gates, so he needs Robert Gates. And there are worse economic criminals than Robert Rubin and his boys at Treasury, so we need that. And by extension, Barack Obama can go ahead and recruit all of the worst in order to keep at bay the even worse or worst. If that is the kind of reasoning that we have adopted, then we have truly been damaged by this Obama phenomenon, and we have a great deal to talk about while there is still time.
Now listen, that's called boy. Know nothing about that.
We have to, I think we need to, if there's been good studies of this time period, I'd like to see them. We need to, I think, really revisit the trauma he was describing there.
One of the things I want you to know is that we have some extra treats in store also.
Thank you for the super chat.
There's some
Definitely
people who are
long.
not on the program,
Glenn.
but who we had some suspicion might come,
And
we are going to give them some time after everything, after our presenters and elders had presented.
And the amount
one of them,
grief he
said
got
he was going to go park his car is none other than
was crazy.
Alton Maddox.
He got so much grief. Yeah.
Another.
And people in that room played a role in suppressing Glenn's work.
Taken care of a lot of spiritual matters for my organization, CMOTAP, on a number of occasions, very close, and that's none other than the minister of Mosque Number 7, Minister
It was
Yusef
rough back then.
Hafiz.
That was a real wild
Yusef
time.
Abdul Hafiz. Now Abdul Hafiz. Man, do I have it messed up.
I mean, you can hear the
Muhammad Abdul,
the ideological
Minister
struggle
Kevin
in
Muhammad.
these speeches.
I want everybody to know that when I'm making a mistake, it's a mistake. I mean, I'm making more and more, and definitely there's nothing but respect in this house today. That's how I feel. Is there respect in this house today?
So even as I'm struggling to listen to all this,
We can tell, is there unity in this house today?
but he had to do this
How many people are in here belong to CMOTAP? Let me hear you say
because the
something.
vibe in the room was
All right. How many people belong to UAM? Let me hear you say
Tense.
something. How many people are from All Africans Revolutionary Party? Let me hear you say something. How many people in here are from the Young Republicans? That's good. That's good. We told security to keep them out. All right, now I got to answer for Brother Sid, who told me that he said you need 2 people for Brother Ford. I don't know how many you need for this young firebrand. This is the heart and soul of the December 12th movement, well known to our community, arguing the yes side. Please welcome Sister Viola Plummer. I'm glad they got an erase on these tapes and whatnot, if this is going around. Actually, we had
And
planned
rest in
to have
peace,
2
rest in
no's
power to her
in the
as
same way
well.
that we had 2 yeses.
Passed
This
away
brother
in
is one of the
2024.
architects of the curriculum of inclusion, a longtime educator and activist on behalf of Black youth. Please welcome Dr. Donald Smith.
Oh wait, what happened? He wasn't ready. Dr. Donald Smith passed away too. That's another unfortunate reminder, piece of all of this. How many people have passed since. And apparently it was taking him a while to get there.
Brothers and sisters, I want you to know that the first thing I did when I came into this church today, this hallowed church, is to give my semi-annual check to Black Agenda Report, to Glenn Ford.
Yeah, he was.
If you're not reading Black Agenda Report, you're missing the most important political analysis about our people.
And you can hear now people were struggling to agree. It's crazy.
In memory of Professor Melvin Tolson, resolve that the election of President-elect Obama is not good for Black people. President-elect Obama is a man of many talents. He is brilliant, with critical thinking skills, an amazing orator, able to inspire and bring hope to millions in the United States and abroad. And he plays ball. He was vastly superior to his opposition, and I voted for him. However, I am not convinced that his election is good for Black people. My contention is based on three major issues. First, his personnel appointments. Second, the danger of a post-racial philosophy. And third, cultural incompatibility.
Man, look at what he's producing to this day.
Rahm Emanuel, White House Chief of Staff, has been a strong opponent of African liberation. He is closely allied to Zionist movements. Right-wing Israelis, with the help of the US government, were major suppliers of the munitions which the Afrikaner government used to murder and oppress Black South Africans. Emanuel also played a major role in unseating Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. Now you have to keep that in mind.
People forget about that.
The presidential chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, is the eyes and ears of the president, and he can influence policy decisions. The next critical appointment is Lawrence Summers, a person of great disdain for African people.
And an Epstein Islander.
Summers, the disgraced president of Harvard, is the new director of the Economic Advisory Committee, which, by the way, does not require appointment by the Senate.
Or at least
at Harvard,
friend of some kind.
Summers
right?
announced that women were not as capable as men to be scientists.
People forgot
that
that.
Africana studies was not a legitimate academic discipline.
Yep.
And that the work of Cornell West was not sufficiently scholarly.
Yep.
Yet his most egregious act took place when he was the chief economist for World Bank. Summers signed off on a memo that urged the United States to send dirty industries, that is toxic industries, to countries where, according to Summers, people don't value clean air, where salaries are low and life is not as valuable. And which countries do you suppose these are? Black and brown countries. There are other appointments which are questionable, even objectionable, such as that of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton,
So, Pancho.
who sat as First Lady as Rwanda was being ravaged, who, as Senator from New York, has introduced no measure to cease the slaughter in Darfur and in the Congo. We are not likely to see the new Secretary of State reverse the establishment of AFRICOM bases in Africa. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates has been referred to as a kinder, gentler shock and awe. It will be imperialism and capitalistic interests, as usual, as people of the first world suffer and die. The appointments that a leader makes communicate profoundly where his head, if not his heart, is. The second major issue is that of the post-racial philosophy as espoused by President-elect Obama and so-called liberal Democrats and independents. Our African culture is the cement which has been responsible for and has held our political and economic interests together. These were the words and wisdom of Malcolm X and Harold Cruz in his book, The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. Any socio-political philosophy which weakens the cultural cement that has held us together threatens our very existence as a people.
I don't know about the first, but I get your point.
The Voting Rights Act of 1965 made it possible for Black people to elect local and national politicians of African ancestry. It is Black solidarity that turned many states from red to blue that enabled Senator Obama to become President-elect Obama. For Mr. Obama to continue to attempt to convince Black people not to think about race is a deadly mistake. It is Black solidarity and the Black vote that has given us the strength to affect our lives positively. As Mahalia Jackson sang, it is how we got over. Cultural incompatibility. Mr. Obama, the prophet of the Joshua generation, has read our history and learned what the white institutions have taught him, but he does not know our history. He does not feel our pain. It is not in his genes. Worse, in order to assure oppressors in America and throughout the world that he can be trusted to protect their preferential unearned privileges, the president-elect generally ignores or deprecates the great liberators of African people.
Especially those white mom biracials.
On the night of his election, Mr. Obama disrespected Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by referring to him simply as the Atlanta preacher.
Facts. I remember that.
Speaking at the funeral of the queen of the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks, President-elect Obama showed no feeling. How could he not have been moved? When he first became a senator, addressing the Washington Press Club, Mr. Obama declared that his hero was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Surely a professor of law at the University of Chicago would have been aware that Roosevelt cared nothing for Black people, turned his back on the lynchings pervasive in the South, and made no provision for Black land in his land policy.
Time is all the way up. Here. All the way up. Done. Okay, I think it's done.
Making last.
They're applauding him being cut off, by the way.
Statement. Okay.
Respect our people, they're chanting. You got to get off the stage.
All right, respect me for one last statement. I will.
You got a 2-minute summation later. You got to get off the stage.
I have one more statement.
You have a 2-minute summation later. You have to get off the stage. Okay. You got to get down. You got to get down.
We'll talk about it later. Watch your step. Be careful.
Later. Everybody gets 2 minutes later. You got to get down now.
Watch your step. Be careful.
All right.
Be careful. Watch your step.
That was wild. But I actually wrote in Black Agenda about Drake and Obama misrepresenting and setting back we biracials. A year that Drake was elected Jew of the Year.
I
But that was
know in
wild.
my
They
heart
walked
that
him off
none
the
of these
stage.
people we have disrespect our people. These are people with a long history of working on our behalf. It's just that this is a passionate issue for everybody, but we got to share this time. So without any further delay, let me say the same thing I said about this young sister before. A strong, brave, courageous, committed African warrior queen, Sister Viola Plummer.
Rest in peace.
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 To Dr. Matul Shakur. The advent of Barack Obama produced all of you here in this audience. So let us start with that. That if there was not a Barack Obama nominated and president-elect, you would not be here. Let us be crystal clear that the Black people who voted for Barack Obama are neither blind nor confused, nor have they sold anything. Let me say this. If we do not believe in white supremacy, how then can we believe that this young, Black, brilliant man can be so duped? That this young, Black, brilliant man does not have a vision, he's got a scam. And that scam is organized and paid for by, they said I can't say the C word, but y'all know who I mean. Let me say this to us, that this is the United States of America, that capitalism, yes, in crisis as we speak, and it's a cyclical crisis, but it is capitalism nonetheless, and that there is no Barack Obama, there is no Cynthia McKinney, who we love and cherish, who through an electoral system can change capitalism. They can put in their cabinet Dr. Donald Smith, and all due respect to Dr. Donald Smith, always and everywhere. My point is this, that there are two choices we have. That either we believe that a symbol of Black intelligence, brothers and sisters, not blindness, not confusion, not uninformed, but years of Black struggle, okay? Years of understanding the history from which we come, okay, can change capitalism. That it is either, and I don't think, and I've been in all of the motions toward it, that we here today are prepared to change capitalism. Because the way in which it will be changed, brothers and sisters, is the violent overthrow of the state. We are not there. We are not there. But where we are is there is a crack in the armor that was made by Barack Obama. And we can lament his cabinet because most of them uphold, believe in, and will continue to support capitalism and wars of oppression. The question becomes, what are we gonna do? See, we have no power to remove Ron Emanuel or vicious Hillary Clinton or the rest of those in that cabinet. And you know why? You know why? Because we do not have an organized, self-determining organization prepared to do it. We constantly respond to what's happening. We talk about Susan Rice. We fought Susan Rice since 1971. And there was nobody but Patrice Lumumba Coalition, right? African Liberation Support Committee, those brothers and sisters there. We didn't have it then and we don't have it now. We gotta remember that what Barack is a symbol. Barack is a catalyst to bring all of us together. To bring all of us together. And that together, if we unite on what we want to see happen, what we have the power to make happen, because we don't have it to change the cabinet or to change Barack. So we, small group here in New York City, right, say that we're going to take a page from Barack Obama's community organizing book, okay? And what that page said is that you organize the community around its interests. Got a minute? We say working with the people in East New York, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, Harlem, Yonkers, Westchester County in general, that the single party payer, that we gotta get the insurance companies out of our healthcare delivery. This is what I want to say to you all. The way in which we do that, and I'm gonna try to do it as quickly as I can, because I don't want y'all making signs at me, is that we organize our people so that when they go to any health institution and you're asked, what is your insurance company? You tell them you don't have one, and then you demand to be treated. See, that's what it is that we can do. Thank you.
And I know it's long. I'm not going to do too many of these interruptions, but but this is what is so clear with hindsight, although some of us were saying this is the problem at the time. So it wasn't just hindsight. Electing Obama worked against every single thing that the late, with all due respect, Viola Plummer was trying to say. that the idea that we were going to thread that needle of both electing someone who was the promise of change and then use that to organize against everything he helped institutionalize, including insurance companies and healthcare, was just not realistic. It's the same thing about this idea that once we see a movie, even a bad one that references a superhero, Fred Hampton or whoever, it will revolutionize and galvanize the community, and that's just not. So anyway, sorry. But you can see what we were dealing with back then. Obama was a well-designed psychic intrusion.
Okay, we're getting
Dr.
people thought we
Shia.
wouldn't be able to get through the speakers we've gotten through already. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Man.
There's nothing stronger than our people united. Is that right?
That's right.
Our next speaker is a brother who built an actual institute to our esteemed, honored, and venerated ancestor, Dr. John Henrik Clarke. When I say that, you're supposed to applaud, brothers and sisters. Because otherwise it looked like you don't know who Dr. John Henrik Clarke is.
Oh, wow, that'd be crazy. Come on now.
But this brother is a scholar. He's right here from the city. He's up there at Cornell. He has helped so many people and allowed so many people to benefit from the wisdom of our academics. People like Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen have worked up there.
If anybody talks crazy in the chat about Dr. Turner, I promise you, I'm gonna bounce you. I don't care what you think of what he says. Watch your mouth.
Ancestry down here, along with 6 other
We're not playing
program. So you see, even though people are on different sides,
we're not playing.
They are, and we are working together. Please give a round of applause for our brother and scholar, Dr. James Turner.
Don't mess around with Dr. Turner. Whatever he says is all right with me.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
The one thing he said that I consider important about me is that I've learned to know when the situation requires adjustment. So I too, Don, like brother, came prepared. But I understand that I have never experienced being dragged off the stage.
He's talking about Donald Smith.
And I ain't about to have that happen tonight. All right? I used to go to Apollo and see that. And used to say, Lord, how do you recover from that? I also hope we will stay friends after all of this.
Bad.
Because in some very important ways, this discussion is premature. That is to say, it's important that we have the preface, but this is a process like none other we have known. So we are challenged to see it through, and we have to be critical at each stage. I want to suggest to you is that Barack Obama's election is a contradiction. And that's not new to us. At every stage of our struggle, we have had to contend with critical contradictions. All right? There is no one in this room, I would imagine, that would say to us that McCain and Palin was an option. It just ain't so. I don't believe there's anyone here who says that we would not like to see even partially the deracialization of American leadership. His election represents in part a deracialization. But on the other hand, it maintains white supremacy and racial inequality. That means we have to consider what are elections. Elections don't radically overturn political systems. And to the extent that Obama is there and presents the notion that this is an equal society, that is not good for Black people. It means, therefore, that we have to be rigorous in our challenge of what this contradiction means. It also is important for us to understand that the contradiction that presented to us means that that even though Michelle and Malia and Sasha will be wonderful pictures in the White House, and we want that, but that at the same time, the mass condition of the masses of our people will remain the same. So we have to vigorously confront this notion that we're in a post-racial society. We must confront that. We must also realize that this is no time to be less Black. We must be more vigorously Black than we have been before. Which also means that we must continue this dialogue. This is not an end, it's the beginning. If we suppress internal discussion, then that will really be bad for Black people. Thank you.
Yeah, looking back, I think even more than I realized the night of, I think that whole watching his homeboy Dr. Smith get dragged off the stage was messing with him. That was pretty tame, even for Dr. Turner.
In traditional African society,
but yeah, sober and clear. He was very dope, man. Salute to Dr. Turner, man.
And esteem. And one of the things that the community relies upon elders for is to speak truth based on experience. And the elder doesn't have to pay attention to how many people are on one side or how many people are on the other. An elder is expected to speak about what is best for the community and what's the direction for the community. I can think of nobody who represents the true word of an elder rather than just getting older, but the true word and the true meaning of an elder than our next speaker. If you see me making errors, it's not because I haven't had good teaching. Dr. John Henry Clark was my teacher in college. And this elder was my teacher in elementary school. Please welcome to the podium the Vice Chancellor of the Board of Regents Emerita, Dr. Adelaide Sanford.
My beloved ones, my spectacularly intelligent, creative, resourceful, resilient ones. What a joy it is to see you gathered here in this way. When we have brought the genius of our intellectuals to coincide with those who work with the lost, the last, and the lonely. And it is important that as we raise this question, where do we go from here? Let's not go where we have been. Let's not leave divided and confused. Let's understand that those that are in the prisons and those that are trying to pacify their pain with substances that destroy them have not had the benefit of an educational system which gives them the ability to analyze, to think critically, to draw a hypothesis, to see beyond what they see and to hear more than what they hear. So it's possible to be confused, and it's possible to believe that those who would befriend you are your enemies. How often in our past have we had to confront the issue of where do we go from here? Surely, after the great prophets of ancient times built empires and kingdoms and intellectual centers and wrote books and did surgery and had music and had the ability to keep their stories carved in the stones of the temples and the tombs. Surely when the colonizer came and befriended them, they must have asked themselves, which way now? Certainly when chattel slavery came into existence that took away our humanity, that took away our sense of who we were, our rituals, our celebrations, our wise sayings, our proverbs, and put us in a situation of destitution. There were those who said which way now and decided that the way now was overboard, was to give up their life and to give up the life of their children. And there are others who wondered which way now, who decided, I'm going to see this through. I'm going to find out what the end will be. And they got into situations where they had to hold their peace, where they had to speak a language they had never been taught, when they were defied by everything that made them a human being. They must have often asked, which way now? And then when freedom came, we were supposed to get 40 acres and the mule, and we didn't get it. But we believed that we would get it, and we must have said, which way now? And then sharecropping came in. And it wasn't possible to make a living. You had to work the land for nothing, disappointment, broken promises. Which way now, they must have asked. But there were those who decided that they were going to go on to the end, and they believed in each other and trusted each other. And then in the name of integration, we were taught again to mistrust each other, to believe that we were like crabs in a barrel, that if one got up, we had to pull it down. And it's Asa Hilliard who said, that's not what happened. It wasn't that they were pulling each other down. They said, look, we let one get out by himself, and he became a Clarence Thomas. And so the crabs in the barrel said, we're all going together, or nobody goes. They must have asked themselves, which way now? And then when Brown versus the Topeka Board of Education came along, I was a principal in the school, and the parents believed that the children were going to get equality of educational opportunity. But it was a falsification, another disappointment, another breakdown of hope, another act of defiance, another act of rejection, another act of deliberate falsehood. And we must have asked ourselves, which way now? And then we who walk into the prisons and walk the horrid streets, flowing with the blood of our people, very often by the result of actions of our people, because we have learned to hate each other rather than the real oppressor. And so we turn our hate and wrath and confusion against each other. And we must be asking, which way now? And here we are this evening, when we have a similar situation, I would think, to Harriet Tubman, when she went back and freed the people. And some of them said, look at her sitting over there sleeping. She is an imperfect person. We have chosen to follow her. What does she know? And they said, I'd rather go back to Massa. At least I know what I have to eat. They had decided which way to go, but she pulled out her musket, didn't she? And she said, you're going to live free or die. And that's the question that we are facing today. Which way now, life or death? Which way now, hope or the loss of hope? Which way now to continue our men who no longer can be husbands and fathers in the prison system, developing behaviors and lifestyles and value systems that are destructive to them and our people. We are a global people. For whatever happens in Iraq and Afghanistan, whatever happens in North Korea, whatever happens in any country affects us because it's our sons and daughters who go there to fight out their battles. We are a global people, and we must be concerned about what happens all across this globe. What's happening in Rwanda? Why did we have what went on in Rwanda? Why do we have the atrocities in the Congo? Why do we have all of the people, brilliant people that we have heard here, who have spent their life analyzing? But the children who are in our school system don't know about them. They don't know about that history. The men and women in the prison population don't know about the things that the scholars have helped us to understand. So what is it that we must do now? Where do we go from now? We go from spreading that intellect to those who are lost and last and lonely. It goes to looking at the background of the president-elect. He understood where the strength of the people was. He understood that it was in that local organizing within a community. We have not done that well. Where do we go from here? Let's not go back to where we were, but let's determine that we're going to use what we have. People of African ancestry have always known how to make something out of nothing. We've always known how to take the imperfect and make it perfect. We've always known how to take those cast-off steel drums left on the shores of Trinidad and Tobago after the oppressor used up the oil and left them there abandoned, pollution. And they took it and made an instrument of music. And it sounds like violins and orchestras and trumpets. That which had been discarded, abused, rejected, and abandoned. That's our story. We have been abused, abandoned, rejected, and now we see a gleam of hope, and we're almost afraid of that gleam of hope. We're afraid to be hurt again. We're afraid to be disappointed again. We're afraid to be lied to again. We're afraid to see our oppressors surrounding the person that we would like to lift up. We're afraid because it means we have to say to ourselves, well, maybe I could have done better. Maybe I could have done more. Maybe I could have spoken more clearly. Maybe I could have walked the streets and told the story. Maybe I should have petitioned that the curriculum of inclusion became a reality, but we did not. Maybe I should be in the prisons and jails telling our children the story of their greatness, telling them that they are not as described, disadvantaged, culturally deprived, at risk, endangered species, because then that's what they will be, what they have always been. But if we stand up and say there are those of us who have studied this system, who have studied world history, not just the history of one group of people, but studied the history of the historical and hysterical oppressor, who understand the great economic plague and where it came from and why it came, so that we will not go back to what we have been, but we will rise up as a new, informed, intelligent people who say, I may not agree with you, but I love you, and let's work it out. Let's work it out. We have no other chance but to work it out, and we will, for we have known disappointments and rejection and depression, but we have also known miracles, and we've seen miracles, and you are a miracle. Let's make it a universal miracle.
I mean, you see what we were dealing with in 2008. Rough out here. It was rough. Obama really was a psychic intrusion dropped
Brothers and
on
sisters,
us.
we did what people said was not going to happen. We conducted ourselves as intelligent Africans, and we shared the time. Please, let's give our panelists a round of
is that
applause.
it? So was there like there must have been like, there was more, because I know Garuba spoke, so they must have had like they must have,
We
there was much more.
We are going to hear from them again. We're
Yeah.
going to hear from them in 2-minute segments. And we're also going to hear from our elders who will have half the time. They'll only have 4 minutes to speak. And we're going to hear from Sister Pamela, Sister Pam, Africa.
That's right, Pam was there.
Free
That's
Maria
right.
Coalition. Sister Pam had to change her schedule around tremendously to come here. She was supposed to go to the prison for Mumia. And so we took her off one flyer and now we put her back on because her schedule changed. And we're so thankful that she came all the way from Philadelphia. We're going to hear from a person who's not speaking about being a political prisoner from some abstract school book sort of a way, but from a person who spent years and years and years in prison. And guess what? The brother was innocent. I'm talking about Brother Daruba bin Wahab. We're going to hear from a newspaper that speaks truth to power. If you don't know about that newspaper yet, you better learn about it. And I'm talking about the Black Star News and its publisher, Brother Milton Alamadi.
That's right. I forgot Alamadi was there. That's right.
We're going to hear from a person who transformed Medgar Evers College, made it get courses to teach about Professor Clark, brought in all of our leading scholars, had on the same panel Brother Karinga and Dr. Ben, which is no small feat. And I'm talking about Dr. Clinton Crawford. That's what we have to do, what our elder just said. We gotta look at our differences and we gotta work it out. To tell you the truth, when somebody I respect as much as I respect some of these panelists say that they're against Barack Obama, that was like throwing me a lemon. And you know what they say to do with a lemon when somebody throws you a lemon? You make lemonade. And that's what we're gonna try to do now. I want you to consider one fact. Dr. Mutulu Shakur was healing our people here in Harlem and in the Bronx. He was one of the pioneers in using acupuncture to stop people from using drugs. Get a clear picture in your mind. A man is hooked on drugs, destroying our community. And this brother, who they say is so terrible, used healing to get them off of drugs and help heal our community. I want you to consider one more factor and then I'm finished. I'm finished. I'm going to wait for you because I don't know what you're going to do. I haven't a clue. Dr. Mutulu Shakur is innocent. Is innocent. Do you all hear what I'm saying? Can you imagine what it's like to be in Supermax and your only crime is to want the liberation and freedom of your people? People, I ain't saying nothing. I stopped for a minute. Brother said he couldn't hear me. I'm permitted to silence every now and then.
Can we, let me see.
Son, and that's no. Sister Beverly Terry, round of applause. Give it up. Give it up. Thank you, Sister Beverly. Since I'm here they come. I hit the number. Went after this email.
Oh wow, he's still
our prisoners of war. You don't want anybody to a birthday party for her.
Through the strategy of the education.
Okay. Need a program. Okay, our first elder who's going to come up and speak.
He must have been doing
She's
a
not really an
serious
extreme elder.
fundraising
We
campaign.
did have a birthday party for her right down here when she made it officially into the elder years, right in the same building. She knows what it is to support African POWs and political prisoners. I can say truly she needs no introduction. The way that most of us know about Brother Mumia Abu Jamal is because of the hard work and effort that her and her comrades do. Please welcome, all the way from Philadelphia, all the way from changing her schedule around, Sister Pan-Africa.
On the move. Isn't this a great day? I want to thank FEMA Pat for bringing this together. As far as Barack Obama, elect president, I think this is a good thing that's happening here tonight. It's bringing people together all over the world, having debates like this. I want to make sure that I get one of those tapes because the education happened here tonight that I have never seen happen anywhere else, and I'm waiting for more to come. On my way up here, Viola said, well, how the heck do you get to be called an elder? I said, well, I'm the elder baby because I'm 62, okay? So this is the elder baby. I'm known as the Minister of Confrontation for the MOVE organization, right?
I love that
and I
title.
want to point out very clearly, I don't vote. I don't believe in this system, no kind of way. But I respect those who do. And fighting this government, we must use every means necessary. And I defy anybody to get up in my face and tell me, because I don't vote in this game, that I don't have a say. Because let me tell you one thing, this non-voter, through the strategy of John Africa, we walked through Harrisburg when they said that under no circumstances will you be able to see a governor and make that governor back down off a death warrant. We didn't do it alone. We did it with the strategy of John Africa, and we brought those people together who vote, those who don't vote, those who have 6 and 7 houses, and those people who have none. I'm saying we all count. Every last one of us counts. I don't believe in voting one day and then leave it up to Mr. Obama and on to carry it on. I'm saying like Viola and Brother Leroy and the people over there in that platform there. They vote, and what they do, they work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, just like I do. Just like I do. And there's a lot of us out there. So I'm saying, people, when y'all talk to people and you talk about the people who don't vote, understand, there's a lot of us who don't believe in it, but we damn sure fight. With that, I'm gonna say, we have done things that have never been done before, and we will continue to do things that we have never done before. But we don't do them alone, we do it all together. The hip-hop generation, the youth, and all, it's so powerful and what it is that they have brought out here today. I cried that day when I seen my brothers and sisters in the street. And for the victory that we had of bringing people together and standing on that front line. And I'm saying most people in this vote here, they was not voting for Obama, although a lot of people did, but a lot of people was voting against Bush. And I'm saying, when you bring all those forces together, we took this mother down. We took it down because there was people who did not vote. but they were out there fighting and will continue to fight. And inside the prisons, outside the prisons that's on the street that people don't even realize that they are in a prison. But I'm saying we all must pull together. I think this is one of the greatest days. I think that nowhere in comparison can it match the number of what went on the night of the election. But understand what we have here today. And over here, this box here is not a quiet box. And we all love each other. And you talking about the great debate, you think it's going on out here? You ought to be in that box. You ought to be in that box. But I'm saying, although we disagree with the strategies of each of us, and we pull together, we have no illusion about who it is that we got to take down. We got to take corporate America down by any means necessary. Understand that. With that I say, long live revolution. And when you say that you can, we can bring Mumia home. We will bring Mumia home. And we will make people accountable for that. On the move, long live revolution. Long live the power to pull all people together. On the move.
I always love hearing Pam speak. Salute to Pam Africa. Yeah, I got to do a Hassan thing, right? What do you call it? Raid the donation buttons. Fund the.
There's someone who works with a brother who has a wheelchair and needs to get out. We don't have a name, but the brother who helps the brother who has the wheelchair.
All right, let me see if I can slide.
Who's benefiting from it? It should become a monthly event.
Oh, my bad.
I got this out because I want to time myself for 4 minutes.
Wrote a book whose title is right under his name here. It's called Author of The Hearts of Darkness, How White Writers.
A great book.
Glasses, don't have them with me. Created the racist image of Africa.
Great book. Milton Alamati.
Yeah. You know, the enemy's always working. You know, they sneaked in here and put my glasses over there on the podium where I couldn't see them. It's on my nerves.
It's a great book.
At any rate, what this
book.
brother has volunteered to do, he has plenty of copies
school.
of his book. I'm sorry, Brother Milton, I'm taking a little long. He has copies of his book. It's a great book. I mean, this brother, when he used to work for the
Heart of Darkness.
How the stuff, the real dirt on them.
New York Times invented the image of Africa, something like that.
Half of his proceeds to the family and friends of Dr. Mutulu Shakur. Please welcome Brother Milton Alamati.
I remember I used it in grad school. Really good book on how the press creates false images of Africa.
I got this out because I want to time myself for 4 minutes. I'm going to waste at least a minute here with some trivial stuff. Who saw Bush today ducking from the shoes? For those of you that missed out, he was addressing the media in Baghdad, in Iraq. And a reporter, I kid you not, got up from the audience and took off his shoes and tossed it at Bush. But you know what? I got to give him something. He got reflex because he went like that. And the shoe slipped this way. And then the second shoe came this way and he went that way. Oh, no, if you don't believe it, you're going to see it in the news when you get home. It happened. I'm also going to waste a couple minutes here by insisting that this should become a monthly event. We ought to support the organizers and make sure every month we have a different theme. Next month, the theme could be, now that you bailed out Wall Street, where is my bailout?
The following month, we can have another theme. Who is really responsible for the genocide in Eastern Congo? Who's benefiting from it? Which Western companies are benefiting from the genocide in Congo?
The same ones that funded Obama.
I have to waste those minutes because these are critical things. They're all tied in together. But why are we here today? To answer this critical question, the election of Barack Obama, is it good for Black people? I think that question needs no answer. Sisters and brothers, we ought to stop playing games. When the majority population get together, they don't play games. I had notes here, but I'm going to put it down. Even the so-called liberals, they say they're on our side, but what happened when it came down to it? When Hillary wanted it so bad, suddenly they were not above using the N-word. When they get together, they strategize. This is what we're gonna do, and this is how we can accomplish it. And they've been using us for centuries. It's about time we started using them too. And that's how we must be strategic. Obama's blackness. Should that even be a question? If white people believe Barack is white, I'm cool with that. But I guarantee you, a woman like Michelle would not get with a brother like Barack and marry him if she had any doubts about his blackness. Ooh. So how dare we even go there and question that? That's another triviality. We allow ourselves to be manipulated. We allow people to take advantage of us. It's about time. Let me ask you this question. Was Dr. Martin Luther King a concoction and a creation of white media? Was he? Was he a creation of white corporations? Was he? Why not? Was he not given the Nobel Prize? Is that not testament that he was indeed a creation of the white establishment? But what did he do with it? He took control of it. And that's why we have to learn how to take advantage of new situations and new realities. Yes, Barack might have been a creation, but it's up to us. How do we maximize this new reality? That is the question that everybody said here consistently. Even the ones that said the answer was no. The ones who say the answer no are actually posing another question. And this is the question they are posing. Now that we've elected Barack Obama, how can we maximize the situation and the new reality? And that's what we ought to all take us when we leave here today. Thank you, sisters and brothers.
That Glenn Ford analysis is just gets better by the second.
I'm going to ask for a favor from all of the elders and all of our panelists. Would you look out in the audience, and from that side and this side, and if you see people who should be recognized, especially from the dais, please put it on a piece of paper. I'm going to rely on you because when we get to the end, I'm going to take that piece of paper and recognize people because I'm seeing some people, not seeing other people. I didn't know that Brother Randy Weston was in the house.
Oh, Randy Weston, jazz legend. I forgot about that he was there. A lot of people were there that night. Wow.
And I happened to be on the other side there, and I saw a brother who really helped to get the crowd out, who kept it pumping on his station. Who's that? Bernard White is in the house. Give him a round of applause.
Bernard White, WBAI legend. I got to hang out in the room with Randy Weston and his band in Cornell back in the day. Very interesting conversation to overhear. Jazz legends talking about their careers.
Is he going? Where's Brother Herb Boyd?
Herb Boyd was in the building. Todd, I know you appreciate
He was on this side.
Of course, Herb was there.
Brother Herb gave it one last shot toward the end because he said, bring a lunch. He made it sound like, we were going to be, and some people, that's what they said. Yeah, I want to bring a lunch. They came out. They're here, Brother Herb. Everybody's here. The downstairs seats 1,000 and upstairs
There's a reason we weren't willing to have this conversation more widely.
So, brothers and sisters, Africans, thank you for coming out in support of our POWs. One of the first people to get an idea that this topic needed debating.
I honestly, forgive me for interrupting again, but one of the reasons why I think it was so difficult and still remains difficult to have these kinds of conversations is because of what was happening then. I want to say it again. The backlash against those critical of Obama from within the Black community and from within what was supposed to be radical, African-centered, and left spaces in the Black community was tremendous. The ability to platform and engage and have a conversation or a disagreement was very difficult. People did not want to do it. And people who even had the criticism didn't often want to stand up. There's a version of it that happens today where people are not invited to take certain positions on certain platforms and are encouraged into the margins with certain views of the world. And this was what was happening then. So that's why I think there was, and you could hear the confusion in this. You can hear from legends in the game that we were not ready as a community for the psychic intrusion and imposition of Barack Obama, and I think we're still reeling from it. To be perfect, So that's anyway. So we're almost done here. A little more than 30 minutes left.
Obama mania.
Just about 30
minutes left. And I'm talking about
left.
none other than the executive director of the Harlem Tennis Council, Sister Nellie Bailey. Where is Nellie?
Nellie Bailey also worked with Black Agenda Report.
Long time struggle.
Man, a lot of people were in there that day.
And I might mention to you that
Shaka, I know you know, bro.
I believe that Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen is still
and it was a worldwide. I know you know, it's diaspora-wide hostility.
I mean, he probably would have came if somebody would have gone to help him get a pass to come out. And Sister Una Mozak is at a nursing home in Queens on 175th Street.
Let me see if I can move this up just a little bit.
It's to a world view.
Sorry about that. Here we go.
I told you this next brother transformed Medgar Evers College. He also takes trips over to Kemet and does the same type of work that Dr. Ben was doing. A great scholar, a great activist, a good brother, a great brother, Dr. Clinton Crawford.
What's up?
What's up?
I'm very happy that I was not in a position to say yes or no. Being put in a position of an elder, I think I was wise enough to go and consult the oracle. And when I went to the oracle, there were a number of our ascended masters, brothers and sisters that I had to consult with. Foremost among which was Dr. Asa Hilliard. And he said to me, Clinton, tell the people that we subscribe to a worldview that is not an either or fallacy. We deal with consensus. And he also told me that to remind you that wisdom could be found even among the women who are found at the grinding stone. And then I looked to my left and I saw Brother Dale Jones, war correspondent. And he said to me, two simple words, pan-africanism or perish. This is what he learned from John Henry Clark. But he said, more importantly, that we got to galvanize. We the people darker than blue. We have always pulled ourselves out of situations that we found ourselves in. And he has great confidence that we'll do so. And then there was Malcolm. And he said, no, I have nothing to say to you. I've laid down my manifesto. Some of you and some of us have learned from it, others haven't. But then he referred me to his great advisor, John Henry Clark. And JHC said to me that it's very important that we do a number of things. And I can't say all of those things because this was a very long meeting. But he said to me most clearly, Africans at the crossroads, notes for an African revolution. We need to make sure that we become familiar with that text. And then in it, the one thing he wanted us to do is is that we, the people sitting here and sitting everywhere, should make sure that we become responsible handlers of power. He said that, and the very strident message for today is that we need to start tomorrow's work today. We need to prepare for those yet to be born. I thank you.
Brother Sid credited me with doing a lot of work for this program. I can't lie and say I didn't do a lot of work. I did do a lot of work. However, some of what he was experiencing was an illusion. You know, there was a part he could see, there was a part he couldn't see. So that if he would see that I would come back and report that I'd gotten the mailing out, he didn't understand that I have an organization, CMOTAP. So Brother Winston Green might have handled that mailing. When he would see that various news outlets had been notified, well, yes, I did email, news.
Pulling it for my.
And there's no greater organizer that I know than our next speaker, the co-chair of CMOTAP, Sister Betty Dobson.
Hotep brothers and sisters. When I walked into that booth and pulled that lever to vote for Barack Obama, I was pulling it for my great-grandfather. I was pulling it for my great-grandmother. I was pulling it for my unborn children. That was the proudest moment of my life, to vote for that black man who's going to occupy the White House. I thought about the fact that as an elder, I have lived through a number of presidents: Roosevelt, Truman, LBJ, Eisenhower, Nixon, Bush 1, Bush 2, Slick Willie, all of them. And what did any of them do for us? Now we have a black man in the White House. He's the president-elect. He's going to take his black wife in there and his black children. I am not intellectualizing. I am acting purely on emotion, and I'm glad.
I remember
Is he good for black folks? Yes, he is. And I want you to say, yes, he is with me. Is he good for black folks? Yes, he is. We can feel proud, brothers and sisters, that we have intellectuals to give us all this information that we didn't know. But I don't care what he didn't do as much as Slick Willie, and nobody had a forum asking, is he good for us? Was there an alternative?
Wow.
Would you rather have had Hillary Clinton, who was dodging bullets, imaginary bullets? Would you rather have had Sarah Palin, who doesn't know where Russia is located? It's over there. Would you rather have had a man who really is nothing but a liar? He's supposed to be a person who is, given so much to his country, such a soldier, McCain. You wouldn't want that person representing you. And would we be holding a forum like this if we had such a person? No, we would not. I am so glad that I had the opportunity to represent my people, my relatives, my friends, my ancestors, by pulling that lever and voting for that black man. Now, I'm willing to give him a chance. 1 year from now, if Obama hasn't lived up to some of the things that we expect from him, then I think we have a right to criticize him. 1 year from now, if Obama hasn't made a difference in how we are viewed as a people all around the world, everybody would want Obama for their president. 200,000 white folks in Germany coming out to vote for Obama, to support him rather, couldn't vote for him. I thank you for those of you that have come. This has been very inspirational, very informative. We can now go and make informed decisions about how to best continue to support Barack Hussein Obama. Yes, we can.
Wow. Wow.
Something's wrong.
Not to prepare in advance of an election for how to engage, but how to, after the election, best support this man. That was, oof. All
Here
right,
on post.
He was asking a lot of questions. You jump up and you object, and you
hold on a second. Let me see.
make the most of it. I don't have time to preach tonight, so I'm just going to do that for another day. But I had an opportunity to talk about
here on post, securing our elders, securing our experts.
Ooh, it's about to get loud.
We would say needs no introduction, saved so many lives while he had his license, inspired so many people, including me, and still fighting, struggling, keeping information going, writing more articles in a week.
Hold up, am I seeing it correctly? It's about the thunderstorm and mess up the 4th of July fireworks out here?
Just basically a strong, brave warrior. Please welcome to the podium, attorney at war, Alton H. Maddox.
God, he was there. Wow. Wow.
No justice! No justice! No justice!
Sorry about the sound.
What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
Help the person next to you and let them know you're glad that you're still African. Thank you very much, Dr. McIntosh. Seymour Tap, let me say that this is a worthy cause. 30-some years ago, I was practicing law with the National Conference of Black Lawyers in the same building that Dr. Mutulu Shakur was practicing medicine. I think it's really rather unfortunate what America can do to our soldiers. He is joined in Colorado by Jamil Abdul Alamin and a bunch of other people who have been committed to this struggle. When I started today, Dr. McIntosh said, you have 4 minutes and then you have 2 minutes rebuttal. And that took me back to August 8th when I was arguing in the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. So that's exactly what the clerk said. You got 4 minutes and you have 2 minutes rebuttal. So I said, well, Dr. Mike, let me just have 6 minutes. And I want to start this discussion though by saying that when you're trying a case and the prosecutor is asking a lot of questions, you jump up and you object and you ask the court to make the prosecutor rephrase the question. And so the question being at hand, I want us to first rephrase the question in the spirit of Dr. Khalid Muhammad. You know, if Khalid was here tonight, he would say that the question is not really Obama. The question is whether this is the United States of America or the United Snakes of America. And arguing from that premise, I think we can easily reach a conclusion. But I'm gonna leave that one alone because we're talking about Obama. And I'm gonna address that question. In the United States, there are 2 critical cities for Black America, Atlanta and Chicago. And when you think about it, most Black leaders, not all, most black leaders come through those two towns. And when you think about Chicago, you think about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Jesse Louis Jackson. When you think about Atlanta, you think about the King family, and so on. And so I've had a lot of study on the question of who is Barack Obama. And it is a mixed answer. Barack has the worst genes of America and the best genes of Africa. Now, I know I don't have time to preach tonight. I don't have time to preach tonight. So I'm gonna just try to do that for another day. But I had an opportunity to speak in Atlanta this past Wednesday night. And the topic that I chose to speak on in Atlanta was Barack Obama and the international bankers. Barack Obama and the international bankers. I just want to throw out some key words, key names. We can fill in the blanks later. When you look at what Obama is doing,
I think he turned away from
a
the
political
mic.
economic point of view, you can't dismiss the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and Cecil Rhodes. You can't dismiss that. The one thing about practicing law, you have to argue both sides. Even if you represent a defendant, you gotta know what the other side is gonna come with. Point is that as we look at his presidential appointees, they all fit within Bill Clinton, who was a Rhodes Scholar. And so we want to know where we're headed in America, we already know. Through critical thinking and through systems analysis, we already know. It's already very clear. When you look at how he was nurtured and how he was financed, let's understand that presidents are not elected on election day. They are nominated when they are in high school or younger. And they are elected by the international bankers way before Election Day 08. And so when we realize that we're dealing with a phenomenon, and we have to make the most of it. We have to make the most of it because, as I said before, he represents both the best and the worst. In his genealogy, he is related to Jefferson Davis, who headed the Confederate States of America, and Jim Taney, or whatever his name is, the Vice President of the United States. That's the worst. The best is his African side. Come from a great African family. Father came over here, Phi Beta Kappa at Hawaii, went to Harvard University, and on beyond. Tremendous force in Africa. So he represents the best and the worst. But for me, I'm only concerned about our children and what we're going to leave for them. Because that's what the real struggle is. That's what the real struggle is. And so whatever we think about Obama, let Obama know that just like our children might suffer, he also has two daughters who will also suffer. And while he is carrying out his presidency, he needs to think about their safekeeping because America does not have a good record of a witness protection program. And that's on the real side. I don't want to belabor this point. I love you. I love you all.
Our mom made the same argument.
With respect to Barack Hussein Obama. And I know, as we say always, the struggle continues.
Yeah. A lot of people were making similar styled arguments from these spaces. It was a wild time. It was a wild time. For sure. For sure. What thought are you saying you want to hear from me? I feel like
Our next speaker,
what have I not been clear on?
Is well known in our community. Actually, is a spiritual leader in this region of the country, and his place of worship and his place of teaching is not far from here. It's within walking distance from here. I think most of us know him also because he has a radio program in which he's talking about relationships and talking about issues in the community. Please welcome a great brother, Brother Abdul Hafiz Muhammad. Minister Abdul Hafiz.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, it is to him whom I submit and seek refuge in, as a student of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, whom he came and raised up as his messenger. I am proud to be his student. On behalf of his national representative, whom I am his student and his helper, your brother and your friend, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I greet all of you, my dear, beloved, beautiful brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
To all of our elders that are here, to all of us that are Black people. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in February of 2008 at our Savior's Day conference that he saw that Barack Obama, who's now president-elect, he saw him as a herald. A herald is one who's a precursor for the coming of the Messiah. I want you to remember that this world is going down, and if you are part of the Black nation, our world is coming up. So if whether or not you believe he's good for us or not, he has been good for the image of Black people, because as many have spoken before me, gangbangers got on the line and voted who never voted before or were even interested in putting down their fratricide. All that you said that is connected to him, all of that is true. But one thing he has said is that you elected him to be the proponent of change and not someone else. He said, don't judge me by my first 100 days, judge me by my first 1,000 days. And he made no promises that he could turn America around in one term. So that means that the hand of Almighty God is there for another reason. Now I want to say to us, what are we going to do? Because we still need freedom, justice, and equality here in the hells and bounds of North America. We still must fight to do for self. Remember what the minister said, Viola, with the Million More movement. And he said it at the Million Family March. He said, we don't believe in this system where you're going to vote for Lucifer or Satan. But this time we know we were not going to go for Satan, so we went for Barack Obama as best choice that we felt he could be. But we have no illusions that we're going to be able to get from America what she can't even give to herself. She is trillions of dollars in debt. She can't even get a bailout package for her own country. So you and I must now set up ministries. When we leave here today, we got to go in the room where there's no cameras, no lights, no media, and we got to plan the salvation for 40 million of our people here in America. I don't care who's the president, Barack Obama or anybody else. And if we don't do that, then you are under an illusion. For we have more billionaires and millionaires, but we still suffer. We have more mayors and now governors, but we still suffer. Don't compare him to our condition. He came up in Hawaii. He didn't come up in Halifax, North Carolina, where the cotton fields are. But you did. We got some growing up to do. But remember this, we need to be about building for our people. So let's build a ministry of education and put Dr. Adelaide Safford at the head of that ministry and get Afrocentric education for our people in these schools and for ourselves. Let's build a ministry of information. So not only do we get the word out to a few hundreds, we get it out to millions, like his campaign did. Let's build a ministry of trade and commerce. From here, America, to the Africas and back. Then we can solve the problem in Zimbabwe. We can solve the problem in Ghana. We can solve the problem in Mozambique. And we can solve the problem here in Harlem and in New York City. Let's build a ministry of defense so that there's no more acts of brutality like Paris, Texas, where they want to drag a black man till he's beheaded, but they will fear that the black man will rise up like 50 midnights when our people are harmed. Let's build a ministry of arts and culture and put Dr. Camille Yarbrough at the head of that so that we can deal with the artistic expression of our people. Let's build a ministry of science and technology. You see, they bugged the governor in Illinois, they bugged his home, and they bugged his house. So we need science and technology so we know how to debug the bugs. We need a ministry of health and human services so our people stop thinking that diabetes 4, 5, and 6 that hasn't even come out yet is a badge of honor. So we learn how to live more fruitful lives. And lastly, we need a ministry of justice because there's still no justice in the streets of America. And if America won't give it, then we're a nation within a nation. Let's give it to ourselves. And lastly, we need a ministry of agriculture. If you got it on your ASS and you don't have no land, then you don't have no real assets. So we need to go to the land, and then we need to mine the land and bring forth the fruits and the vegetables in urban and suburban agriculture. I don't appreciate link it with Jamaica and the Caribbean, and link it with Africa, and then get free trade amongst ourselves. And lastly, since Barack Obama, nobody saw him coming, then that means that God saw him coming, and God put him there for a reason. And if God be for you, who can be against you? And since we're not here using the N word, then I'm going to use the G word. Ye are all gods, children of the Most High God. Thank you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. And Afro Mighty Nation, you can accomplish what you will. Afro Mighty Nation, you can accomplish what you will.
I will say it is unfortunate how much of that is still being said today and how little of those things ever were.
We're staying within our time limits and we're winding on down.
Moved upon.
We're going to have a couple of more 4-minute presentations. I want to say,
yeah, everybody, it's only about, there's only about 12 minutes left. So we are wrapping up. Thank you all for joining us and hanging out. Please do all the things, support the platform.
Now, if you have some topics, I want you to send them to the following email address, bashleffy@aol.com. That's BAS.
AOL email addresses.
Brother Daruba Ben Wahab.
Here we go.
I bear witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger. I ask that Allah guide my words so that they may convey information and intelligence to my people, and that those mistakes that I make are mine, and any information that is transmitted to my people is solely from Allah. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
I want to say, as an elder, we've heard some pretty strong pros and cons on this Obama issue. But we're here basically, and first and foremost, for Mutulu Shakur, for political prisoners. And yesterday I attended a memorial for a comrade of mine, Bashir Hamid, who died in prison. Bashir Hamid, who was a former member and field marshal of the Black Panther Party, a soldier in the Black Liberation Army, died in prison after over 2 decades of incarceration. We had a memorial service for Bashir Hamid at Reverend Darcy's church in Brooklyn. And only a handful of comrades and families and friends showed up. The African community did not know Bashir Hamid, did not remember his valiant struggle, nor the life that he dedicated to his people. So I want to take this opportunity, I'm going to rough off a minute, for everyone to stand in silence and gratitude to our fallen warrior who died in prison, Bashir Hamid. Please rise and give some respect to our warrior comrade. Brothers and sisters, we can sit.
We stopped the clock. Your 6 minutes starts now.
Brothers and sisters, we are here tonight debating where are we going to go? How are we going to proceed? I think every speaker here has indicated that we are living in a historical moment. We are in the cockpit of history. I'm quite sure Professor Jeffries explained the historical roots and the cultural basis and the geopolitical paradigm of pan-africanism and how it relates to Obama. We have heard from our foremost fighter on the political front, who has fought in the city council for our interests, in our behalf, who has raised his voice against the most corrupt police department in this city, who has come out to defend us, our comrade and brother Charles Barron. We know his track record, and we have to respect his opinion and his analysis. But Charles knows he could have just as well as argued the opposite as he did the pro. He knows that. Brother Charles also knows that James Brown didn't say I'm black and I'm proud. He just said say it loud. The chorus said I'm black and I'm proud. We've heard from our brothers and sisters who said that Obama's ascendancy to the presidency is a culmination of our struggles in America as African people. But we know that's not really true. We know that in fact, we have substituted the building of a mass movement of sovereign thinking, the building of a nationalist movement for the campaign of an individual. We have instilled all our hopes and our dreams in this person and in this campaign. He has gone from obscurity to president-elect without a manager, without a producer, just based on his personal capacity. If we believe that, we'll go for fried ice cream. But the point is not whether we are pro or con on Obama. There are some brothers and sisters here who tell us that this is a messianic calling that we're dealing with. To act in the hand of God. Of course, as a Muslim, I believe Allah's hand is in everything. Allah's apostle says that there is not an event that occurs in the material world for which there is not a spiritual consequence and lesson. So we know that the rise of Obama to the presidency of the United States is a spiritual test on African people because his presidency represents the end of African history in America and the beginning of this new history that they're trying to perpetrate as our legacy. Brothers and sisters, we must understand one thing, and this is where we have to all agree. Every one of those brothers and sisters over there who struggled in behalf of our people have come to one conclusion, and this is the overwhelming conclusion that we have to deal with today. And that conclusion is, how will we survive America? Let me get this clear. You saw what happened in New Orleans. How will we survive America? If the lights go off tomorrow and don't come back on, how will we get our grandmothers from the 27th floor in the projects downstairs? What will we do with our children? How will we get our food? How will we survive in this society that is under the enormous contradictions of capitalism? Forget all the rhetoric. Forget Obama. Nobody voted for Michelle. They voted for him. Black folks voted for a black man. Pure and simple. They don't care what his policies are. They don't care whether he's a capitalist roller or whatever. They just know that he was black and that they was black, and they finally had an opportunity to do that. But what they did, no one out there with that race consciousness was waving a black, red, and green flag. They were waving a red, white, and blue flag. If our race consciousness has not resulted in the ministry of this or the ministry of that, it's because the black nationalists and the pan-africanists fell down on the job and never organized our people the way they should have been organized. We can rectify all that now. All that's history. What are we going to do now? How do we survive America? What's coming down the pipe? When we look at Obama's appointments, we see what's coming at us. How do we prepare? So I'm going to use this opportunity to say that we have come to a consensus over here. We have come to a consensus that African people have to behave and act in their own best interest at this historical moment in time. And we have to put together a progressive movement in this city, in this country, that will represent our interests and put pressure on the president-elect of the United States to act in behalf of working people in this country. So I'm going to propose to everyone here and ask them to publicly vouch here in this auditorium. We need to build a coalition in this city to decentralize the police department and the emergency services in New York. We need to put a referendum on this next ballot that will decentralize the New York City Police Department. We need to put a referendum on this ballot that's coming up to decentralize emergency services in this city. And I'm calling on all of the brothers and sisters here to build a citywide coalition. Sister Nellie up in Harlem. I'm calling on the minister of Mosque number 7. Let's build a coalition in this city and capitalize on the momentum of the Obama campaign. Let's build a progressive coalition in this city. Let's get behind Charles Barry and the councilman that's going to be running for city office. Let's put on an agenda about our political prisoners, the drug war. Let's build a political movement in this city and capitalize on the momentum. Now, I know I can get an amen from the brothers and sisters over there. Now, can I get an amen? So, brothers and sisters, now my time is up. I don't want to get moved off the stage. I'm saying, let's call our next meeting here about decentralization and a referendum on the New York City Police Department. Let's break the back of the police unions in this city and stop this brutality that's inflicted on us. Power to the people.
Now listen.
What happened there? Oh, that's it. That's it. That's how the tape. That's how that's how I ended the recording. So that's it. I don't know. Maybe we can come back and do part 2, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Because I was in that one, and that's I don't you know. It wasn't as good. It wasn't the same, but. Look, the only thing that I was just wanted to say is a sort of my own concluding thoughts here on this, and again, thanks everybody, is just how little progress was made. So the night after Obama was elected, the very next night, Dhoruba, one of my 00 African comrades, Dr. Sean Utsi, hosted a critical assessment of the election that we were a panel on. And I used to joke that we were had to be the first to hate on the election, given that it was the next night. And the energy was, and I was just following Daruba's lead, the energy was what you heard there. Let's take advantage of this, and whatever people want to do in terms of how they feel, in terms of how they feel about their vote, let's try to maximize the potential. And, you know, but as I was saying earlier, what I felt like we constantly were up against in the years after 2008 was a form of, we've done everything that we can do. We've gotten this man elected. Let's support him. Let's hope. Let's whatever. And there was insufficient effort among even the kinds of people that were in this debate to build anything. There wasn't a coming together. There wasn't an increased coalescing of various efforts and movements and organizations. And there was no, Daruba is still right now talking about a united front against fascism. So, I mean, so for me, it was, as I predicted, just a complete gross and net negative. Like, and we ended up getting, I think not one bit of benefit. There was no silver lining to that election. So, but it was great to hear some of the folks. Rest in power to of course, Dr. Turner and Donald Smith and Viola Plummer and others. But yeah, it was very much, we tried everything, now let's try this. And then anyone who tried anything got ignored or shut down. Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, Todd was the one that put me on to the cottage industry post-Obama, of all the academic and popular book writing that basically, and you even remember, Todd, if I remember correctly, you had somebody and you told me or showed me even an email that he got where he was told this by a publisher. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was that energy that if you don't have a positive conclusion to your book pointing to Obama's election as a hopeful future, you were just not going to get published either. So it was like a whole wild psychic intrusion. But anyway, it was good to I hadn't listened to the debate in years, other than the Glenn Ford clip. Yeah. I'm glad my memory's still working to a certain extent. But yeah, so there was this idea that we could turn this into some sort of momentum going into a positive direction. It just wasn't. And even remember, the Progressive Caucus in Congress reported after 2008 that they couldn't get donations and funding. There was no energy for protests or criticism. Like so even the non-opposition couldn't find support. Dark times, and we still I feel like we haven't climbed our way out. And to the extent we see these same arguments in new forms coming up around other candidates, it's crazy. So anyway, thanks everybody for coming through. I appreciate it. This was great. The only, one of the few ways I could think of enjoying this ridiculous affront to humanity called a holiday. And let the rains come. I love it. Just let me quickly thank you all to the members and super chatters. And yeah, I did want to come back to this. I know John said this a little while ago, but it was sad and angering to see how much resistance there was to Glenn Ford, Bruce Dixon, Margaret Kimberly, to a lesser extent myself at Black Agenda Report. It was just wild. So you heard when McIntosh introduced him, he had to say he gets these hostile emails, and there's a sister here who sends him these emails, and it was all about how could you be critical of Obama, and it was like, how could you not be critical of Obama? So yeah, long live Glenn. Thank you all for these super chats. I missed this era too, Todd. It was a dope era. It was a dope era. And Thank you all for the super chat as well. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate you, Erica Socks, for coming through. And yeah, no, appreciate you. Thanks. And I look forward to this, being interviewed about Dr. Turner, and the publication is on the way. Congratulations. Please let me know when it comes out. Definitely look forward to that. Welcome. Kurt, I don't know if I ever answered your question. You were saying that you were wanting me to answer. I don't know what it was. We should have a space where we can have this sort of discussion. I would love to hear from all of you here. You know, one day I wouldn't mind that if folks want to, if I would suggest put a comment on this video or elsewhere, and let's schedule a time. I'll host it. If folks want to come up, we can have a. I don't know what the topic would be, but I'd be down for that. You know, so thank you and welcome Wayne Curtis, not the Wayne Curtis that I know from back in the day, but welcome either way. And Afiganyo, thank you very much. Welcome. But all right, people, let's enjoy the rest of this wonderful holiday. Oh my goodness. And since we've been here so long, before we get out of here, you know what I got? I'm gonna have to run this one more time. I can't help it. But peace, everybody. As long as you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say. Thank you all once again. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you all very much. And you know what it is.
And we should support black businesses. We got to support black. You know, my buddy Jared Ball, Dr. Ball, who is at Morgan State, talks about this myth of black buying power. Another brother who teaches at Duke University, Sandy Darity, says, you know, we can't pool our money together and using that, buy our way out of oppression.
Right.
This is
never buy your way out.
You can't buy your way out. We can't create enough millionaires in a capitalist society. It just can't. Nick, as much money as you do or don't have, you can't write a check for everything you worth and free us.
Right.
It's not possible in a capitalist society.
Right.
And what did you sacrifice? Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, that set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy and defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Well, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything.
I mix what I like.